Alright, today's lesson will be on using Logger Pro to do video analysis. The first thing we need to do is add a movie to do some video analysis. To do that, I'm going to go up to the Insert menu up here, down to Movie. Click on that. You need to find your movie, usually on the desktop or something like that. We're going to do Momentum Lab videos for this demo. Any movie will work. Let's do number 1. Alright, opening up on Logger Pro is this video screen. That's the video right there. Fun stuff. Pretty typical. Play, stop, back to the beginning. This is back of frame, forward of frame. Alright, none of that is video analysis. Video analysis takes place when you open up this button right here that's titled Enable Disable Video Analysis. When you click on this, a toolbar opens up with a lot of different options. This button right here at the top, select point. Not really sure how that's used, so it's not a big deal. Add point is what you click on when you want to mark the location of the object on the movie. It's very important to use this point. Set origin is where you define what is your X and Y, which is positive and negative. I'll demonstrate that later. Very important, set scale. That's what communicates to Logger Pro what distances actually are in terms of real data instead of pixels. Photo distance we're not going to use very often. This would be something you'd want to use if you have great distances between you and what you're measuring. It's just a way to adjust for some lensing, whatever that means. Setting active point button is the fancy way of saying, hey, I want to analyze more than one object. If you want to analyze 2 objects, you have one object here. If you add point series, now there's a second object you can analyze. And 3 or 4 if you need. These buttons, I don't know what they do, so I'm not going to worry about them. Alright, so to begin, I'm going to start by setting my scale. I have this ruler right here. I know that that's 20 centimeters or 0.2 meters. Okay. If you don't have a meter stick, find something that you know the actual length of. Like I could measure the length of this car. If it's a basketball, I know the hoop is 10 feet tall, something like that. Something that just communicates actual distances. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my origin. It doesn't really matter sometimes if you do this first or last. So this little bulb right here indicates positive X. If you click and drag, you can tilt your axis if you need. I'm going to try and line this up so that everything happens on the X-axis. Okay. Alright, once I've set my scale, set my origin and my axis, I'm going to click on set point. I'm going to make sure I'm looking at my first object. Alright, here we go. This will be my first object. To do this, you just aim and click. It's important that you're consistent on the object that you're measuring. So if I'm choosing this bullseye, that works. If I want to use the front of the car, that would work too, but just be consistent. And you may notice the graph behind me is flipping out a little bit. That's because as I'm making these clicks on the movie, Logger Pro is actually graphing that information. Alright, so that's basically it for this first object. I can click onto the graph and say, oh look, there's some data. It looks kind of funny because there's 2 graphs, but if I click on the labels here, I can just select, here's the motion in the X direction. Oh yeah, I bet you can spot where the collision was. Alright, so I'm going to scroll back a little bit and analyze the second object. To do the second object, I'm just going to go here, add the point series so that I can select point series 2, click on this, and then just rinse and repeat. What's nice about video analysis is it's really fast and really accurate. Some of the drawbacks is that it's a little too easy, so there really isn't a lot of hard work to get the data, so it's easy to forget sometimes. So this is really a good way to just get some stuff taken care of afterwards. But doesn't replace actual labs usually. To look at the information for the second object, I just click on the axis and looky here, x2, y2, x velocity 2, y velocity 2. So this is a motion for the second object. This is a brief tutorial on using video analysis for Logger Pro.